There are Ford machines so rare they slipped past the spotlight, living only in whispered stories and forgotten garages. Built in tiny numbers, shaped by racing ambition, each carries secrets left out of brochures. Today, those hidden legends return to the surface, revealing the rarest muscle Ford ever dared to create. The Ford Mustang Boss 429 stood as a purpose-built machine created to satisfy Ford's stock car ambitions. Its hand-built 429 cubic-inch NASCAR-inspired V8 felt less like an engine and more like a contained storm waiting to break loose. Ford listed the street version at roughly 375 horsepower, though many drivers believed the true output stretched far beyond that figure, echoing the race-tuned heart that made the Boss 429 a legend. Acceleration delivered a forceful rush, pushing the car to 60 miles per hour in the low 5-second range while surrounding the driver with a narrow tunnel of vibration and thunder. The massive engine demanded space, forcing engineers to reshape the shock towers and remove the rear seats so the power plant could fit beneath the Mustang's skin. The result was a car that looked familiar but behaved like something entirely different. A machine built around its engine rather than the other way around. Production remained short and focused, with just over 1,300 examples completed before the program ended in 1970. Surviving Boss 429 models have become treasured artifacts of Ford's competitive years, often commanding auction prices deep into the upper $300,000 range. Their rarity continues to grow, and each one carries the unmistakable presence of a Mustang shaped by racing purpose rather than showroom convenience. And if this first chapter stirred a familiar spark inside you, consider subscribing to American Muscle Soul. Your support keeps these forgotten legends alive. Following the heavy breath of the Boss 429, the path bends toward a machine so rare that even seasoned collectors lower their voices when speaking its name. The Ford Mustang Shelby GT 500 Super Snake was never intended for public roads or showroom glory. It was a singular experiment, a one-only creation built so Carroll Shelby could prove what happened when you paired a Mustang fastback with a Le Mans-bred 427 cubic-inch V8, tuned for brutal endurance. That engine poured out roughly 600 horsepower, a number that felt almost abstract until the car stretched itself across a deserted test road during a Goodyear tire evaluation. There, with Shelby at the wheel, the Super Snake swept past 170 miles per hour with a calm that bordered on disbelief. No production plans followed. Shelby knew the world was not prepared for a Mustang that behaved more like a race prototype than a street machine. Only one Super Snake was ever completed, restored decades later to the same fierce aura it carried during its 1960s trials. When it crossed the Mecum stage in Indiana, the hammer fell at roughly $2.2 million, sealing its status as one of the most valuable Mustangs in existence. If this legend feels new to you, or if you have ever been lucky enough to see the Super Snake in person, leave a comment in this video. The Ford Mustang Shelby GT350R was built with a singular purpose: to win races through precision rather than excess. Weight reduction guided every decision. Heavy steel panels gave way to aluminum and fiberglass, shedding roughly 300 pounds and leaving the car feeling taut and resonant, like a drum stretched tight. This lean structure amplified the voice of its race, tuned 289 cubic-inch V8, an engine delivering close to 350 horsepower, with a sharp, immediate response. Acceleration came with a raw edge, pushing the lightweight Mustang through the quarter mile in well under 15 seconds and allowing it to climb toward 140 miles per hour on open straights. Inside, the car offered nothing beyond what racing demanded. The cabin rattled, the ride transmitted every vibration, and the mechanical noise surrounded the driver without apology. This stripped character became the heart of its appeal, reminding anyone behind the wheel that the GT350R was a competition tool first and foremost. Shelby American produced only about 3 dozen examples to meet racing regulations. and each survives today as a rare artifact of American motorsport's most intense years. The GT350R remains a symbol of performance achieved through discipline, focus, and a relentless pursuit of speed. The Ford Thunderbolt emerged in 1964 as one of the most extreme factory-backed drag machines Ford ever produced. Built from the Fairlane platform, it carried a body stripped of every unnecessary ounce. Aluminum panels replaced steel, lighter plexiglass took the place of conventional windows, and the interior was pared down until only the essentials for quarter-mile combat remained. The result was a car that felt more like a purpose-built weapon than a street vehicle. Its Fe427 cubic-inch V8 sat beneath the hood like a caged force, fed by dual 4-barrel carburetors and tuned to deliver roughly 425 horsepower in factory form. On a prepared strip, capable drivers pushed Thunderbolts into the low 11-second range, a level of performance that startled even seasoned drag racers of the era. The car's focus on acceleration demanded additional safety measures, and many Thunderbolts ran with mandated equipment to stay within racing regulations. Ford produced roughly 100 of these machines during that single model year, each one funneled through select dealers directly to competitors who knew how to exploit their brutal potential. Today, the surviving Thunderbolts stand as some of the rarest and most valuable pieces of Ford's drag racing heritage, reminders of a time when engineering restraint was replaced by sheer competitive ambition. The Ford Mustang Factory Drag Special represented one of the most secretive efforts of Ford's late 1960s performance program. Built in extremely small numbers, these machines were assembled for racers who needed more than a showroom Mustang could offer. Engineers focused on uncompromised acceleration, beginning with the installation of a 427 cubic-inch V8, tuned for short bursts of violent power rather than long-distance refinement. High-flow cylinder heads, aggressive cam timing, and competition-grade internals allowed the engine to deliver the force required to send the lightweight Mustang charging down the quarter-mile in a matter of heartbeats. Reinforced suspensions, strengthened driveline components, and simplified interiors shaped the car into a focused drag tool. Inside, noise and vibration replaced comfort, and every control felt designed for precision rather than ease. Because these Mustangs were never intended for the mass market, only a limited group of racers ever received them. Their rarity today reflects how quietly Ford supported the most dedicated competitors of the era. Each surviving example stands as proof that Ford's engineering teams were willing to create specialized machines for those who demanded nothing less than quarter-mile dominance. If you are still following this journey through Ford's rarest creations, drop the number 5 in the comments to let me know you are still riding along. The Ford Torino Talladega of 1969 was engineered for one purpose: conquering the high-speed demands of American stock car racing. Every line of its bodywork served aerodynamics. Ford extended the front nose, reshaped the rocker panels, and smoothed the rear glass so the car could cut through the air with far less resistance than its competitors. Under the hood lived the 428 cubic-inch Cobra Jet V8, a strong and steady engine rated at roughly 335 horsepower. Paired with the durable C6 automatic transmission and Ford's trusted 9-inch rear axle, the Talladega delivered stable, confident acceleration at high speeds where lesser cars began to struggle. Long straights felt natural to it, as though the car settled deeper into the pavement the faster it traveled. Low-speed maneuvering was not its strength. The extended front end made tight turns awkward, and rear visibility remained limited. Yet on open asphalt, the Talladega felt entirely in its element, a machine shaped by wind rather than convenience. Production was brief, lasting only a few weeks before Ford ended the program. Around 750 examples are believed to have been built, making the Torino Talladega one of Ford's rarest aerodynamic experiments and a lasting symbol of the era when the wind itself became a rival to be defeated. The Ford Mustang Boss 302 was engineered to meet the demands of the Trans-American Road Racing Series, a competition that required precision rather than brute strength. Its high-revving 302 cubic inch V8, equipped with large valve heads and a compression ratio just above 10:1, delivered roughly 290 horsepower with a sharp, eager climb toward its upper range. What defined the Boss 302 was not peak force, but the way its power band stayed alive through every gear. Period testing recorded runs to 60 miles per hour in the mid 6-second range and quarter-mile passes in the low 14-second bracket, numbers that placed it among the most capable handling-focused American performance cars of its era. The suspension tuning emphasized communication over comfort. Every vibration, every shift in pavement, and every transfer of weight reached the driver with clarity, giving the car a sense of lightness uncommon among muscle machines built during the same period. Its driving manners favored those who appreciated balance. The car throbbed at idle and carried a restless rhythm through traffic, as if it preferred to be chasing apexes rather than navigating crowded streets. Production remained limited across its short run, leaving surviving examples cherished for their role in proving that Ford could win not only through power, but through discipline and engineering finesse. The Ford Falcon Super Cobra jet of 1970 carried one of the most aggressive power plants Ford ever placed in a compact body. The lightweight Falcon shell housed the 429 cubic inch Super Cobra jet V8, a factory-rated engine, producing roughly 370 horsepower, with a deep-breathing induction setup and heavy-duty internal components, built for high-stress acceleration. Its character came alive the moment the throttle opened. The engine's sharp cam timing and strong mid-range torque allowed the Falcon to rush through the quarter-mile in the low 13-second range when tuned and driven with purpose. The sound was unmistakable, a heavy and urgent note that felt oversized for such a small frame. The chassis, however, revealed the Falcon's humble origins. Rear leaf springs struggled to contain the torque during hard launches, and the braking system worked at the edge of its capability once the big block pushed the car into higher speeds. These traits created a raw, mechanical personality that made the Falcon Super Cobra jet feel more like an experimental engineering exercise than a polished production model. Production numbers remained extremely low, with historians estimating that fewer than 100 examples were built before emissions regulations shut down the big block program. Surviving Falcons stand today as some of Ford's boldest and most unexpected muscle creations, pairing oversized power with a compact, unassuming form. The Ford Galaxie Lightweight of 1963 was engineered to strike hard at the drag strip by removing every unnecessary pound from Ford's full-sized platform. Aluminum replaced the heavy outer panels, plexiglass was used for the windows, and interior trim was reduced to the bare essentials. What remained was a large, framed machine that felt unexpectedly lean, built around an unwavering commitment to straight-line performance. Anchoring the lightweight was the formidable 427 cubic inch V8, tuned by Ford's performance division to produce roughly 425 horsepower. Its power reached the pavement through a demanding 4-speed manual transmission that rewarded skilled hands and punished hesitation. When launched correctly, the lightweight surged down the quarter-mile with the violence of a recoiling catapult, stunning spectators with acceleration uncharacteristic of a full-sized car. The driving experience offered no softness. The ride was harsh, the noise constant, and the cabin echoed with the sounds of competition hardware at work. Yet these traits defined its purpose. This was not a cruiser. It was a factory-delivered drag weapon built for racers who valued performance above all else. Production remained extremely limited, with historians estimating around 200 examples completed before Ford ended the program. Surviving Galaxie lightweight models now stand among the rarest pieces of Ford's racing heritage, each one a reminder of the brief moment when innovation, courage, and raw power converged in a single machine. The Ford Torino Cobra jet arrived in the late 1960s as a focused blend of intermediate size and big block authority. Beneath its long hood rested the 428 cubic inch Cobra Jet V8, a factory-rated engine producing roughly 335 horsepower with a deep reservoir of torque. Its breathing system, strong internal components, and broad power curve allowed the Torino to surge through the quarter-mile in the low 14-second range, with well-prepared examples dipping into the high 13-second bracket. The chassis was designed to support aggressive launches. Rear suspension refinements helped tame wheel hop, giving the Torino a planted, confident push when the throttle met the floor. On the road, the engine's broad pull made the car feel eager and muscular, though its size favored straight-line strength over tight cornering finesse. Non-assisted drum brakes demanded awareness, especially during repeated stops after high-speed bursts. Its production run remained modest, lasting only a brief period before tightening emissions rules brought the big block era to an end. Today, pristine Cobra Jet Torinos crossing auction blocks stand as enduring reminders of the final years when Ford's intermediates could still deliver unfiltered muscle car thunder, shaped by engineering ambition and built for drivers who valued raw performance. And so our road through Ford's rarest muscle machines reaches its quiet end, leaving behind the echo of big block thunder and the craftsmanship that shaped an American era. If these stories stirred something familiar in you, a memory or a spark, consider liking this video and subscribing to American Muscle Soul. Your support helps keep these machines alive, one forgotten legend at a time.